Out of the Blue, proudly brought to you by San Remo. We're family.
Another surprise!
Out of the blue.
You want that with fries?
Out of the blue. Come with me across the sea on a barbecue. We're gonna cook for you.
Nothing but blue skies!
Out of the blue.
You want some chili with those fries?
Out of the blue.
Hi and welcome to another episode of Out of the Blue. Today's program comes from Port Wakefield. Now most of us know Port Wakefield. We drive through on Highway 1, we might stop, fill up with fuel, get a coffee, a pie or pasty, head north over to West Australia or turn left over there to York Peninsula and the Copper Triangle. But look, if you turn into Port Wakefield itself, you are in for a great surprise. In fact, Port Wakefield years ago was the second busiest port to Port Adelaide in South Australia. So Port Wakefield is certainly worth a visit. This lovely boardwalk area has been a real surprise to me, well away from the traffic of the highway. They call this region the Samphire Coast, and you can readily see why with all these samphire plants. It's a very peaceful place in the still of the early morning. Port Wakefield is about 100 k's north of Adelaide at the top of Gulf St Vincent. As we'll see in today's show, it has quite a history to explore on a walking tour of the town. We'll check out the bakeries on Highway 1 and take a look at the church that's now a cafe. But first, let's go fishing. Into the sky, there. It's early morning at Port Wakefield, and I can assure you, it is as cold as it looks. -1 when we launched the boat. It's a beautiful morning out in Gulf St Vincent. I'm fishing with Bart Butson, a professional fisher who works out of Port Wakefield. He's a third-generation fisherman, and he's out working these waters using a net.
Yeah, I hope the garden's good. We may get a few King George whiting, and we may get some Tommy Ruffs.
The netting system is about 600 metres long, and so the boat works quite hard to start pulling it into a circle. The water here is not very deep, but it's very clear. You can see the net resting on the bottom.
What they're doing is hooking up the net, and then they gradually shrink the net, and the fish go down, 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 and then there's another little net on the end, where hopefully all the fish will go in that, and we'll fill up all these boxes.
Now the hard work begins. The boat is set to work while Bart and Zeke start pulling in the hundreds of metres of net. We must be close. There's almost as much net on the back of the boat as when we set out. Now here's the thing. After all that time and effort, Bart looks out on a very thin catch. Disappointing, but that's the way it goes sometimes. But it's not the end of the story. Our camera crew is with Justin, and he happens to know that his dad is onto something just across the gulf. Peter is fishing for squid, and with the net almost in the boat, he seems to be making very good progress. Sure enough, there are squid to be hauled in, and I reckon I'll get hold of a couple for our cooking later in the show. The rest of the catch, well, straight to the fish markets. It's terrific to see a sustainable fishery in operation on a beautiful morning out of Port Wakefield. After the break, I take a look at the local plant life, taken on a guided tour of historical Port Wakefield, and cook some more fish with a local. Welcome back to Out of the Blue from Port Wakefield, and even more evidence of the history of Port Wakefield behind me. The old wharf is still standing, or parts of it. But something that really interests me is what's over. start looking at the history of Port Wakefield, because in 1802, Captain Matthew Flinders, while he was surveying the coastline of South Australia, he actually came on land here and looked all around him. You can see the beautiful hummocks in the background, which he went up there after and had a good look around. But he also named Gulf St Vincent after Lord St Vincent. And so you can see that this was really the start of the history of Port Wakefield. There are just so many old, interesting buildings around the town. And I've met up with Glenda Payne, who is taking me on this walking tour around historic Port Wakefield.
We're in front of what the locals know as the bank house, built in 1877, originally the National Bank, then it changed to the Commercial Bank, and then the Westpac Bank, and now it's a private residence and an antique shop. They use the main part as an antique shop. So Michael, this is our courthouse museum. Can you imagine Port Wakefield many years ago, one of the first buildings built, because you've got muleteers coming from Burra, the copper ore, you had several inns, and you can imagine the sort of behaviours that went on.
Yeah.
Definitely needed a police station.
Yes.
So we had a courthouse, a police station here. We've got cells in there as well, living quarters for the police officers, and we have an Aboriginal store, the supplies to the local Aboriginal people.
Yep.
And the stables on the end, where they kept their horses, of course.
It's a great snapshot of bygone days where it was almost the Wild West out here, I guess.
That's what it would have been like.
Yeah.
I often imagine that's what it would have been like, yes. So, Michael, here we are at what's commonly known as Bubner's Corner, the Port Henry Arms Inn. This was the former stagecoach relay station, with the stagecoach from Wallaroo to Adelaide.
Port Henry.
Yeah.
What's the significance there?
It was an original name of Port Wakefield for a very short time.
Now, I've noticed 2 or 3 pubs in the town, but earlier, in the early days, there'd been many more, I would imagine.
Yes, there were many more in its heyday here. But the Port Wakefield Hotel behind us here originally started as the Wakefield Inn Hotel in 1849, changed its name to the Terminus, and of course now Port Wakefield Hotel.
Hey, what a wonderful insight into some of the history of Port Wakefield, thanks to Glenda, and also this brochure that's available from most of the business houses in the town or the Tourist Information Centre. And look, next time you're coming through Port Wakefield, just turn off and spend maybe half an hour and have a look around. I can tell you it is well worth it and so interesting. Bart has brought his catch in for me to take a closer look. This is not one squid. Tell me it's not. This is huge.
That's one calamari tube.
Calamari tube.
Yep.
All caught out here, and all the good thing about it, all within our local markets and Australian markets within a day or two.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to take this away and see what I can do with it. Thank you.
No problem.
And there you are, already cut, prepared for the next step. And this is going to be carried out by local legend Rob. Now Rob, how are you, Rob?
Good.
Rob runs the caravan park and he is famous for his salt and pepper squid or calamari. Rob, what are we going to do with it?
What I'll do quickly is just in some,
I'll mix that,
in
the
some
batter.
self-raising for you. We're going to make like a bit of a batter. So we're almost there now. So that's ready to go. And all we do is just grab a bit of squid.
Yep.
Just mix it in there with your hands. This is the best part. You get them all sloppy and get it all over it.
That's it.
And then we put it into some corn flour.
Yeah.
And then you can put that straight into the pan.
Yeah. The thing is with calamari, of course, you don't overcook it. So there we are. I reckon I'll take that off and drain it. Okay, Rob, stage 1. The calamari's been cooked off in the beautiful batter. What have we got next?
Now we've got a mixture of finely chopped onion, chillies and garlic.
Chillies and garlic.
I know you like your chillies, Michael, so we can always add some more for you if we want.
Oh, okay.
So just probably half of that, Michael, in there, and just, that's perfect. And just brown it off a little bit very quickly.
Yeah, right.
And now we put our squid in on top of that and toss it.
How much chili did you put?
Just enough. So now we toss that around, Michael.
Rob, what are you doing?
It's my secret recipe,
this is
Michael.
it. Look at this.
It's just equal parts of ginger powder, celery powder, Chinese 5-spice, and salt.
And a bit of stock.
And a bit of stock.
Yeah, that's it. There you have it. Rob's sensational salt and pepper. Port Wakefield squid. And you can get a sort of little bowl of this at the Port Wakefield caravan park, you reckon?
Yeah. With every guest, we give them one.
Look at the calamari, fresh and delicious.
After the break, I create a wonderful recipe, asparagus potato pesto curl pasta.
We saw earlier in the show that Port Wakefield has some remarkable old buildings, and here's another one. Salt of the Earth Café and Gallery has been established in the former St Albans Church property, which was built in 1873. It's a cosy, frilly cafe run by Katharina.
Salt of the Earth is an oasis. It is off the highway in Port Wakefield. It's not competition for the roadhouses, it's something completely different, and people get a wonderful surprise when they come off that highway and visit us in our beautiful historic town. The hall was built in 1905, and that's where we now have our cafe.
Katharina cooked up some of Bart's seafood, and it was just delicious. But what I like most about the cafe is the collection of craft around the room, and then a selection of produce, and of course, there's always the coffee. Next door is the Salt of the Earth Gallery. This is the old church building, and it's been beautifully restored. Inside for more interesting stuff.
The display that we have across the altar is very unique. It depicts a Viennese ballroom scene.
Yet another surprise for us in the township of Port Wakefield.
How you going there, big fella?
Good, thanks, Michael. Yourself?
Bad at all. Look at this. It's just fantastic.
It is lovely.
Now, what are we making today?
Today I'm thinking with these beautiful asparagus potato pesto curl pasta.
Yeah.
All right, so get on to it. We need to blanch our asparagus here.
Yep.
So we just trim. You want to do a few of them for
Yeah,
me?
I can do that.
Yeah, good on you. So these straight into boiling water, Michael.
Yep.
All right. I reckon that should be all right. Two
That's
more
nice.
for the lucky two. Thank you
Okay,
very
all right.
much. Potatoes, good man.
Now, is that sort of dicey enough?
Jeez, really good. Perfect. All right, so we're going to look at our asparagus here. Now, Michael. So get them out of there into the ice water like so. All right, we need to get that back onto the boil.
Adam, what could you do with these pieces, the end pieces? They are a bit stringy, aren't they?
They are. We call them a bit woody, so, you know, a bit hard. You could use them in a stock.
I'll just take them home.
All right. So, Michael, we need to get our curls, pasta in, San Remo Curls into the pan. All right, like so. Now, Michael, potatoes, please.
Mm-hmm. Just
in they go.
all
yeah,
in.
you're all right. Oh, jeez. All right, beauty. And now some butter, please. Don't be shy with the butter. All right. All right, lid on. Now, to make the pesto,
Yep.
we need some basil, some garlic.
Now, just the leaves or the stems? Or
Just the leaves, okay? No stem.
right.
Now, with our asparagus, just chop it nice into small pieces. So this is going to make our pesto, okay? Asparagus pesto.
I don't think I've ever had asparagus pesto.
Well, there's a first time for everything, like my mum says to
Beautiful.
me. Now, this is it. A little bit of salt, okay? A little pepper.
Yep.
Now, 1 clove of garlic, please. And we have pine nuts, Michael, that aren't toasted. So in with me nuts. So, in with your garlic.
Right.
All right, olive oil, Michael.
Look at the olive oil.
Oh, and a good quality olive oil as well. So we're going to blend this, and then we're going to add in our pecorino, all right? Now can I have a pinch of pecorino? So no parmesan, pecorino, which is nice and bitey cheese made from sheep's milk.
Yeah.
Yeah? A little bit more olive oil, please.
Olive oil.
Thank you. The smell, look at this colour, Michael. This is what it's all about. And look at that, there's our beautiful
That's it.
asparagus pesto there, all right? You know me, my food is simple.
It is.
Tasty and simple. All right, Mick, so pasta's cooked nice and al dente. You want to give it a go with a little bit of potato? You're a ruggedest man. You'll be all right. Look, so we're going to strain off some of that liquid. Majority of the liquid, to be honest with you.
It's boiling hot.
Oh, you'll be all right. Come on, princess. You'll be all right. Don't worry. We want to keep a little bit of that liquid. That's full of flavour there.
Yep.
So into the pan. Back into the pan. Yeah, keep that side
Would that
going.
be the start of a soup?
We could have a little brodo, if you like, and then make some little tortellini and drop them in
you
there.
could put these in.
Hey. So in with our
Yes,
asparagus
look at this.
pesto, all right? This is it, Michael. So look, get all that colour working around. Come on, Adam, get it home. So a little bit of cracked black pepper, a little bit more pecorino. That's it, wait, baby. Michael?
Yeah, well done.
There you have it.
Yeah,
Asparagus, potato, pesto curls, San Remo pasta.
Don't go on about it. It's good.
Real good.
Still to come on Out of the Blue, I go on a bakery crawl.
Welcome back to Port Wakefield. Well, we've seen the historic side of Port Wakefield, but this is probably the side most of us know, the busy Highway 1 side, where there's the petrol stations and the bakeries. In fact, there's about 3 bakeries, and we're going to be looking at them. It's just the right distance from Adelaide to have a break, have a coffee, and a beautiful pie and pasty. And this is the Port Wakefield Bakery. So I'm going to find out what's their most favourite pie or pasty. How you going?
Hey, how are you, mate?
Not bad, thanks. I was wondering if you could sell me one of your most popular pies that you know.
Would be the butter chicken pie.
Butter chicken. I've never had a butter chicken pie. Thank you very much indeed.
Just down the road is Pope's Cafe and Bakery. It's late in the day, but we'll see what they've got.
Hi Tara, how you going?
Thank you.
Hey, I just wondering if I could get one of your most popular pies or pasties. What people buy most. What have you got?
It's usually a Cornish pasty.
I'll have one of
all
those.
out at the moment, sorry.
I should come earlier, shouldn't I?
Yes.
But your most popular one's a Cornish pasty.
Yes.
Thanks, Tara.
No worries.
I missed out on all the good stuff, coming well after the rush. But there's still Kipling's just across the road.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Not bad. I was wondering if I could have one of your most popular pies or pasties. What have you got?
I'd say the steak, cheese and bacon, Cornish pasty, bolognese pasty, and a chicken satay.
Well, can I have one of each, please?
Right.
All right, thank you.
Look, I'll just take these. They'll let it.
You just take
Let's
that.
put these.
With all that busy traffic on Highway 1, there must be plenty of customers each day for these 3 bakeries, and they're all so very good. But the big lesson for me has been the benefits from leaving the highway and spending time in the historic Port Wakefield. You should do it next time you're passing through. Well, that's all for this week's show. Check us out on Facebook or outofthebluetv.com. We'll see you next time. Out of the Blue proudly brought to you by San Remo. We're family.